Welcome to our Green Acres. If you are new to my channel, welcome, and my name is Teresa. In today's video, it's going to be all about spring and Easter DIYs. This is an abbreviated version of the spring and Easter videos that I did last year. I took the highlights from them and just made an abbreviated version, and I put 30 or more projects in this video today. So if you want more information and more projects, I will have a link to all the full videos down in my description box in a playlist. Hope you enjoyed the video. Okay, y'all, let's get started. The first project is going to be a hanging umbrella wreath, and the first thing you're going to need is going to be an umbrella. I've had this one for years. It's got a black handle and a black tips. I went over it and lightened it up with some white chalk paint, and then I'm taking these beautiful tulips, and I'll have several options of tulips in my Amazon store. The pink ones come 20, I think, to a bundle, and the white ones, I think, come 30. These are very realistic looking. If you touch them, they even feel real. So I highly recommend these. I have several sets of these. You just want to place them down in your umbrella, and then mine has a little Velcro strap that goes around it, and I'm just going to secure it off with a little bit of glue just to make sure it holds the flowers down in it really tight. And the only other thing I'm going to do to this is I'm going to add a burlap bow to it, and y'all, this makes the prettiest spring display in your home. Next, we're going to work on a really cute bunny tag. Now, I acquired these tags. They're little chalkboard tags. They got 2 to a pack. They were $1, and I got them at a yard sale. I love the black base. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lather it really good with my candle wax. That way, when I apply my chalk paint, it'll distress really well with a plastic scraper. I applied a couple of coats of white linen chalk paint, and once it dried, I went over it with my plastic scraper, and I distressed it really well around the edges and all over the board. Once I got my board finished, I went out to the graphics fairy and I downloaded this image of this little hare. I cut him out with all the little graphics that was on it. It had some little wording at the bottom. I also cut that out. All I did was apply him to the board with some Mod Podge, and I added a cute little messy bow around his neck. The next project, I'm going to show you how we can upcycle some glass canisters and some that you can also purchase at the dollar store. Now, I obtained these canisters at a yard sale last year. I just took them outside and I just used some Rust-Oleum white spray paint, and I just spray painted all of these projects. Next, I went out to the Graphics Fairy website and I downloaded some free printables. Now, these are to me just scream French country, but you can choose any kind of graphics that you want to go on your canisters, and you just want to trim away as much of the paper around the design as you can. Just get as close as you can. Then I'm just going to apply them to the front of my canisters using some Mod Podge. You just want to go around very gently with your fingers and apply them and just let them dry. Now, this one right here is another sheet that has some really great decals on them. I love these, and these are also from the Graphics Fairy. So I just took another one of my canisters, and this was one of the smaller sizes, and again I just used some Mod Podge, and we're going to apply it to the front. And I'm just giving you some ideas of things that you can add a little bit of detail to. And these right here make very inexpensive containers to put your greenery and your florals in for spring and summer. Now, these are 2 items that I got at Dollar Tree just to give you some more options. Again, I just spray painted them. I downloaded my image and printed it out and just cut around it really close. And this one had some really pretty embossed detail, so I just got a sanding block and kind of brought that out. And now I'm just going to style it for you and let you see how pretty these turned out for spring and summer. The next project is going to be some rustic drop cloth stuffed bunnies. The first thing you want to do is just trace out a template, and I googled one and just traced around my computer screen. Now you just want to go around and trace it on 2 pieces of drop cloth, and then you're going to want to just cut it out. Once you get your bunny all cut out, now you're going to want to go around all the edges with your hot glue gun and leave a space to add some filling. You also want to leave an inseam so we can fray the edges. Once I get him, all stuffed, I'm going to go in with my glue gun and just secure the bottom. Once you do that, just go around the edges now and fray it just to give it more of that little rustic look. Now I'm just going to add a bow to him. Now this one, I'm going to add a little pocket to the front. I just took a little piece of burlap. I folded down the top and I'm going to use some hot glue, secure it on, and now you've got a cute little pocket to put little eggs and carrots in. I'm going to add a bow just to add a little bit more embellishment, and these make the cutest little bunnies for your spring and Easter decor. Now the next project is going to be a really large bunny pillow. Now I use my computer off my TV screen. We have a Mac Mini, so it runs off of our TV. So my TV, I can blow up images on my TV screen, so that's what I did. I just taped several pieces of printer paper together. I put it up on my TV screen, and I traced a very large bunny image that I Googled. So this is kind of, a crude pattern, but it worked. I just taped my pages together where I needed to, and then I went in, traced him out, and then I cut him. Now, once I got him cut out and I had my pattern, I'm going to take 2 pieces of one piece is a piece of drop cloth, and the other fabric is a printed design I got at Walmart. Now, that way he'll be reversible. I can flip him around with the design on the back, or I can flip him around and have the plain side that's just the drop cloth. So once I went around, I traced him. You want to leave an inseam, and then you want to go around, just hot glue him around the edges, leave an opening at the bottom. You stuff him and then secure your opening, and now he's ready to embellish. Now I just tied some bows around his neck, and make sure to go around and fray your edges at the end just to give him more of that rustic look. Now we've got a really cute, very large bunny to set out for Easter and springtime. The next project I'm going to show you is going to be a really easy bunny pom pom wreath, and all we're going to need is a Dollar Tree wreath form and some yarn. To make pom-poms, it is so fun, and these are so addictive. Get some yarn, and the 3 yarns that I'm using I'll have linked in my Amazon store, and they will be under the yarn, ribbon, and lace section. Just wrap it around 2 of your fingers, and I go about 60 times with this type yarn. Once you get it wrapped, then you want to take it off your fingers, and you want to work a piece of yarn through there, and you want to tie that in a knot, and you want to tie it really tight. Now, once you got it tied off really good, now just kind of gather it really good, and you want to go in and cut that loop. You just want to cut all the loop, and then that way you've got your pom-pom started, and then you want to gather it up really good in your hand, really tight, and you want to go around with your scissors, and be careful, don't cut yourself, and just trim around. And like I say, you're making a fluffy little pom-pom here, so just, cut it down to where it's, kind of even, and you'll want to spread it out and then go around the edges. And I'm going to make, I'm going to alternate my colors. I'm going to do a cream, which is called Pearl, and then I'm going to do a white, and then I'm going to make some out of this really pretty little faux fur pink, and it's called Pink Poodle. And then I'm just going to alternate them, and I'm going to use a 12-inch wire wreath form that I purchased at Dollar Tree. And then I'm just going to, you can't hot glue to these wreaths really good, because the wire form, you really don't have a lot of base to glue to. So I'm going to tie them on, and I'll tie each one on, alternating my colors around my wreath form. Now that I got all my pom-poms secured onto my wreath form, I'm going to show you some different options for embellishments. Now I got these cute little bunny ears at Dollar General for $1. Now you just turn them around, and you've got like the little, little furry ears. And then you can take these little headbands. I'm going to show these upcoming in the video, some other things you can do with these. But these are from Dollar Tree. So just different ways you can embellish your little wreath. This right here was a little metal truck. I got this one in pink, and I also got it in like a little bluish, greenish color. But these right here, little metal trucks, I mean, these were like $1. So very inexpensive little embellishments for, and more ideas for your wreaths. The next project is going to be a really cute little Dollar Tree wood bunny. Now they usually have these little wood cutout bunnies each season, so I'm excited to see what they have for this year. But last year I picked him up. Now I wanted to make him two-sided. I'm going to do two colors. One side I'm going to do in the Ballet Slipper Pink by Waverly chalk paint, and then the other side I'm going to do white. Now I went over him with some craft paint, and then I did my candle wax, and then I painted him, and I distressed him, and I just add messy bows to him. And like I say, now I can flip him around. I've got a white side and I got a pink side. Now I'm going to show you how to make a really easy and quick cotton sphere. You're going to need a styrofoam ball you can purchase at the Dollar Tree, and you're going to need some cotton stems. Now I'm just taking some that I had left over from the fall season. You just want to clip them off, and all we're going to do is you're just going to go in your little styrofoam ball. You're going to make a hole. I use my hot glue gun, put a little hot glue down in there, and just start sticking your cotton little cotton balls on it. And basically you just want to cover half the sphere. You don't have to cover the bottom, because that's what you can put down in the base of like an urn or a dough bowl. These right here are so easy to make, but they can make such a really pretty impact on some of your spring and Easter displays. And you can use, actually, if you don't want to use cotton, you can also use any kind of florals that you have. Now I'm going to show you another really easy and quick little tip for Easter. You can take some of the Easter grass. You can get this at Dollar Tree. I just got the plain white, but I'm going to show you how you can just make it vintage really easy. You just want to take some leftover coffee, or if you have tea, you just want to soak it really well, wring it out really good, get all the excess coffee or tea out of it. You want to lay it out flat and just on a surface somewhere, and if it's a nice day, you can even put it outside. Let it dry, and look how beautiful this turns out. This is so pretty to add to our spring and Easter displays. And in the next project, I'm going to show you a way of how we can decorate with it. So now in this project, I'm going to show you a really pretty Easter display. I'm just going to take some thrifted bowls that I got at the thrift store. I'm going to make like a 3-tiered bowl tray. And to lift up my bowls, I'm just taking smaller bowls and putting those in the inside of the, the bowls. And then I'm just going to add my vintage raffia that I just made. And you just want to go around and cover all the little bowls in the center really good. And just get, just stuff it as much as you need to. Once you get your raffia stuffed in, I just added this cute little bunny. Now, I got him last year and I ordered him online from Summer's Market, Floral, and Home Decor. I'm going to link their website down below. I don't know if they still offer this little bunny, but I know they'll have some beautiful spring decor to choose from. And also, I have one similar to this in my Amazon store. So now I'm just going to add some little Dollar Tree carrots just here and there just to add that little, carrot flair to it. And I think this turned out so cute. Now I'm going to show you how to make the cute little Easter beaded garland. I just got a sheet of little bunnies that I purchased from an Etsy shop, and I'll try to link it down below. But I just cut one out. I just, kind of distressed the edges with my fingernails, kind of ripped it a little bit, added some coffee grinds just to give it more of an age look. I'm just going to apply it to a little wood slice. I made this beaded garland in a previous video. It was a fall video. So if you want to see how I made the beaded garland, I can link it also down in my description box. But I'm just going to apply this cute little bunny to the wood slice using some Mod Podge. All I'm going to do is make a little bow for it, put it on with some hot glue, and now I've got a cute little piece of, a cute little rabbit beaded garland for my spring and Easter displays. Alright, now I'm going to show you a cute, really easy little bunny display. We're going to take an inexpensive bunny that I purchased at Dollar General for $4. We're going to take that really pretty wreath, and then I'm going to show you how, if you have like a, some kind of an urn or like a large bowl, just how you can place your bunny down in that and just place that wreath around it, and what a really cute little centerpiece this makes, and so easy to put together. I also want to mention here that the little cute bunny pillow cover that is listed in my Amazon store, and I'll have a link to my store down in my description box. Now I'm going to show you how to make some cute stuffed bunnies out of some Walmart fabric that I got. This is just like some little bundles that you can get at Walmart. And you can see there's 5 pieces of different kinds of fabrics. And I'm going to use several of them to make the next few projects. But I did the same thing. I just got on my computer screen. I traced out a bunny template. And you want to trace it on 2 pieces of your fabric. You just want to go around, cut it out. And once you get it cut out, we just want to do the same thing. You want to go around the edges of your bunny with some hot glue. Secure it down. Make sure to leave an opening. You want to put your stuffing in. And once you get it all stuffed, then you just want to go in and secure it with some hot glue. And I'm going to show you here in just a few minutes some cute ways of how you can embellish them. Now I'm going to show you the same technique, but we're going to make some little birds. Now I freehanded a little template for the bird. He was not very detailed, so he was pretty easy. So once I got my template made, I just cut him out, and then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to use some of those little squares, fabric squares from Walmart. I'm just going to trace him out, and then I'll go around, I'll cut him. We'll do the same thing. We'll glue him, leave a little opening, and stuff him. Now when you go to stuff him, he's a little bit smaller, a little bit more fragile, so you may have to use a pen or a pencil to kind of get that stuffing in. So then I just went in, secured him off with a little hot glue, and he was really easy to make. And I'm going to show you an option here. If you've got some really pretty straight pens that may have little pearl or iridescent heads on them, they make great little eyes for your birds. Now I'm going to show you another version, but we're going to make some eggs and just take a template of an egg. These come from Dollar General. They were $1. I'm just going to trace around it. I'm going to cut it out, and then once I do, I'll go around it with some glue. I'll leave an inseam to where I can fray the edges, and then we're going to stuff it. And then I'm about to show you some really cute ways of how you can embellish all these little projects that we just made using some thrift store items. Now I'm going to show you some different ways of how I embellish these. Now I love tea towels, and you can pick up tea towels a lot of times at yard sales and thrift stores, very inexpensive. I purchased 2 of these, and I think they were $2 each. But you can also use the fabric, because I'm going to use strips of the fabric to make some bows. And I love that little crocheted edge and that heart. So I'm going to take part of that little crocheted edge, I cut that off, and I'm going to embellish my little egg with it. So I'm just giving you different ideas and options of things that you can make that will make great little embellishments for all the little pieces that we just made. And I'm just using a little bit of hot glue, and I'm just going to secure it a little bit on the sides. Now I took the heart off that little tea towel, and I just went around it and cut it out. And then I'm just going to use some little glue around the edges, and I'm going to make like a little heart pocket on this little rabbit. Now this is just a little crisscross messy bow, and I used different strips of the fabric bundle that I purchased at Walmart, and also some off that little tea towel, and I tied it off with some lace. Now this is another little, it's not a tea towel, I guess it's more of a little doily, and I loved it. And I've taken one of those hearts that I use a lot from Dollar Tree. I use that for my pattern, and I cut out a little heart shape, and I'm going to make a little heart pattern, a little heart pocket for this little rabbit. Now I'm going to show you a cute little scrap wood bunny. Now I'm just going to take a piece of scrap wood that I have. I'm going to take some watered down craft paint, and I usually use burnt umber, and I just go over it and cover my whole piece of scrap wood. Now I'm going to take my candle wax, I'm going to lather it on, and that way I'll have a good little base for when I go to distress. I put some white linen chalk paint on it, and I distressed it with the white scraper, and you can see what good distressing that candle wax and that little scraper does. Now these are some Etsy downloads I got last year. I'll try to link them down below. I love bunnies off of Etsy. They have a huge selection. So I just cut one out. I just went around the edges and kind of, toward the edges with my fingers. So you can always dampen it with a little water, and it'll rip really good just to give it a rustic edge. And then I just went and I put some coffee grinds around it just to give it more of that vintage feel. I just used some Mod Podge. I applied it to my wood, and I also drilled a little hole in the top and put like a little hook eye screw in the top of it. So now I'm going to take some assorted scrap ribbons and fabric that I have, and I just bundled some together, and I'm just going to tie them on that little hook eye and just make a cute little ribbon and lace embellishment for it. And this makes such a cute little piece to set up with all your little spring and Easter decor. Now I'm going to show you how to make a really cute little display. You can make this out of recycled cans, or you can make them out of those little floral buckets you can get at Dollar Tree. And all you want to do is just spray paint them white or whatever color that you want to use in your home. I made mine white. Now I'm going to start with this little floral bucket, and I'm going to take an Etsy download. I purchased this from an Etsy shop, and I love this. I use this in several videos because I love lavender. So just to make it look more vintage looking, I took some water with my fingers, went around, I ruffled up the edges and tore them really good. Then I go over it with coffee grinds just to give it more of a distressed look. I go over the back with some Mod Podge, and then I'll just apply it to the front of my bucket. Now once you get this little bucket made, this makes such a cute little centerpiece to display your lavender sprigs or any of your florals. And I'm going to stage it and display it for you in just a minute. But first I'm going to show you how we'll take that same graphic and we can make a really pretty book stack. So you'll want to take, I think I used 4 books for this project. I got all of these at the Dollar Tree, and I got all the same books so they'll be consistent in size. All you want to do is just remove the jackets, and then I went out and I painted them white. And once you get your books painted, then I went out and I printed out that same graphic in a larger size. I think it come in a 5x7 and an 8x10. And then I'm just going to hot glue all of my books together. I just put hot glue in between them. And once you get those hot glued, now we're ready to apply our graphic. Now I just cut it out, and I'm just going to put a good amount of Mod Podge on the back of it. And then I'm going to adhere it to the front of my books and over the top of it. It's so big that it'll overlap over the top, which is good because I'm going to put a lavender swag across the top of it so you really don't even see the top of the book. Then I take like a little paintbrush tip, and I just go in and I'm working that graphic down into those grooves of the books. Then I go back over it with a good amount of Mod Podge to seal it in. Then I just made a lavender swag and a bow, and then I'm just going to put that on top. And I think these little books paired with that little lavender centerpiece bucket that we made, I think these make cute little additions to our spring vignettes and our Easter decor.
Should old acquaintance be forgot, and days of old lang syne, for old lang syne, my dear, for old lang syne, we'll talk a cup of kindness yet, for days of old lang syne. And here's a hand, my trusty friend, and here's a hand of thine. We'll talk a cup of kindness.
Now I'm going to show you how to make a cute little Dollar Tree chicken. Now he is one of those little wood cutouts, and they have these every year in some kind of shape, form, or fashion. Egg, chicken, they have rabbits. So hopefully they'll have him again this year. But I went over him with brown craft paint. I went over him with my candle wax. I painted him with a yellow craft paint that I got at Walmart. And I thought chickens, little baby chicks, being yellow and just spring colors. So I love the yellow. So I went over him with my plastic scraper and distressed him. I went over him with a sanding block just to knock some shine off of him. And then I put a vintage button on for his eye. And then I'm just going to take some assorted burlap and some buffalo check ribbon that I got at Walmart with some raffia and make him a cute little messy bow. And that's all there is to this cute little chick. So for $1, now we got a really cute little Easter decor piece for our home.
We'll talk a cup of kindness yet, for old lang syne.
Now I'm going to show you an easy and inexpensive way we can make some really pretty Easter and spring candles. This again is some Etsy downloads that I purchased. Like I say, I love their little bunny selections. And you just want to take some inexpensive candles. This one come from Walmart. It's very inexpensive. Just peel your labels off. This one I think was a Dollar General Christmas candle. Get all the labels off. Make sure to remove the residue from your candle, and then just cut out your graphics. Do the same process. Rip the edges of them. Make them more vintage looking if you want to. And then I just applied them with Mod Podge and put them all on the, the fronts of my candles. And you can also embellish these with little bows and stuff if you want to. These, once you get these made, these look so pretty sitting around for Easter and springtime. And also, I think these would make great gifts for people.
Should old acquaintance be forgot?
Now I'm going to show you how we can make some really cute shabby chic eggs. These are from Dollar Tree. This is the large egg, and then I'm also going to use one that's like a medium size egg. I took them outside and I spray painted them white, and then I'm just going to snap them back together. No hot glue is required to keep them together. They stay together okay. And then I'm going to take a stencil set that I purchased from Amazon. It's also in my Amazon store. And then I'm going to take this graphic that I purchased off of Etsy, and I'm going to take the floral section. I'm going to cut it out, and then using some Mod Podge, I'm going to Mod Podge it onto the egg. To me, I think black and white and pink florals are so pretty together. And I'm just going to show you how well these eggs pair, for a really pretty spring vignette. And for the smaller egg, I just added a little bow to it, embellished it.
Should old acquaintance be forgot, and days of old lang syne, for old lang syne, my dear, for old lang syne, we'll talk a cup of kindness yet, for
Now I just want to show y'all an easy tip on how you can take a wreath you may already have on hand and how we can add a little bit of Easter and spring detail to it. This is a wreath that I have hanging over my sofa in my family room. And also, if anybody's interested, those pillow covers I purchased on Amazon. They are also in my store. But as you can see, I have that wreath hanging on that window pane. So I'm going to take a bunny. I purchased that bunny last year at Ross, and you want to take a bunny that's as flat as you can get it. So she has a little beanbag middle, her belly's beanbag kind of stuff, so I just kind of mashed it down as flat as I could get it. But I'm going to wrap that same twine around her that's wired. I just wrap it around her stomach a few times, and now I'm just going to weave it into my wreath and attach her, because I just want her head and her arms to show through on the wreath. And this is just a really easy way that, if you have a little stuffed bunny on hand and you've got a wreath, how you can attach it to your wreath, and it just turns out so cute. And it has that little Easter and spring detail, and we didn't have to go out and buy anything. Now I'm going to show you how to make a really easy, unique wall decor piece for Easter. All you're going to need is a thrifted frame or a frame you may have already at home. I applied candle wax to it. I'm going to chalk paint it, and of course I distressed it with the plastic scraper. So now I've got my frame nice and distressed. Now I'm going to take some graphics that I purchased from an Etsy store, and these are just email downloads, and you can print them out as many times as you want. Now I went around the edge of this one to cover up this paper with some coffee grinds because my frame I felt like was going to be a little bit too small to fit it, so if I didn't want any of the paper to show through, so those coffee grinds did the trick. And hang on in a minute because I'm going to show you how to use the other bunny and make another wall decor piece. Now I'm going to show you another Easter wall decor piece, just like the one that we made previously. I'm going to use another thrifted frame, and I'm actually going to ditch the glass on this one. I will use the backing to the frame, but I just chalk painted this. I distressed it. Now I'm going to show you how you can take these little wood emblems. Now I have these linked in my Amazon store. I've ordered these several times because these are great for projects. They add just a little bit of detail to something. It makes all the difference. I just put some antiquing wax on it, and then I went over it very lightly with some white chalk paint. I didn't get down in the grooves because I wanted that distressed look, and I wanted some of that antique wax brown to come through. So now I've got a great little piece to put on our frame. Now I'm going to take the other bunny image that I got from Etsy that I didn't use a minute ago. I'm going to take it, and I'm going to use this piece of cardboard backing from my frame. I chalk painted it, and I distressed it a little bit because it's cardboard. And then I just kind of went over my rabbit with some coffee grinds just to make it a little bit more vintage. I added a bow. I hot glued on that little emblem, and look what a beautiful Easter decor piece this made.
We've been fighting forever, gone over this 1,000 times before.
Now I'm going to show you how to make some really cute clothespin carrots. You're just going to want to take some Dollar Tree clothespins. You're going to want to remove the springs. You're going to just want to add some hot glue to both of the insides of your clothespins and just glue them together. And that's all you have to do. Now it is optional if you want to fill in that little hole at the bottom, and if you do, you can just get some Dollar Tree spackle and just fill those in. I filled mine in, but like I say, that's optional. I've seen some that fill it in and some that don't. So now you just want to, paint them orange. And here's a couple options of craft paints that I had some craft paint from Walmart, and this is the Waverly chalk paint, and both of them are really pretty colors for these carrots. But I just go over all the carrots now, just brush over them and paint them. Now to make the greens, and you can put any kind of greens on them you want to. I'm just looping up some raffia. I'm gonna bunch it together, and then I'm going to tie it off with a piece of twine at the top really tight, or at the bottom, and then at the top I'm going to go through with my scissors, and I'm just going to cut my loops, and then I'm just going to kind of work them with my fingers and kind of fray them out. And this is one of the best ways to make like little carrot greens. Raffia always frays really good, and it always works well with these little rustic projects. So here is the one that has the raffia greens. Now another option for the greens I'll show you in just a minute, but I'm going to show you real quick how to make a little loop rustic bow for it. I got this little ribbon at Big Lots. Big Lots a lot of times has a really good little ribbon selection, and their ribbons actually are very affordable. But I just looped it 3 times. I'm just going to tie it in the center with a piece of twine, use a little hot glue, and just tack it onto your carrots. Once you get these little carrots made, these are so much fun to embellish. But I just took some greenery off of a piece of a pick that I had, and I thought these worked well, so I'm just going to bunch a couple of those together, glue them on the back. And again, just cute little ideas for your carrot greens. These look so cute, styled in a little basket. You could put these on your tier trays, or there's so many things that you can do with these once you get these made. Now I'm going to show you how to make a cone carrot. Now this is going to be a cone that I have used in a Christmas project, and I wrapped it in twine. Well, I'm going to use it. What you want to do is take a cone form and you want to bend it and make it flat. Now if you don't have a cone metal form, you can also roll up a piece of poster board and that will work. And just kind of fold it at the top to where it's kind of flat, because we want to make the shape of a carrot. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to take some 5 to 6 inch orange burlap, and I'm going to have this linked to my Amazon store, and you're just going to want to start wrapping it around your carrot. And I want to start at the bottom, and this bottom will be a little bit smoother than when you start working with the rest of the carrot, but you just glue it down in the areas that you need to, and then you just kind of start working it around the carrot and kind of twisting and wrapping it around as you go. And I just worked in sections, and once I got one section in place, I would secure it down with some glue, and then I would start with another section. And that's all you do. You know, in real life, carrots are really rustic and imperfect, so that's kind of how you're wanting to do this one. You just kind of want to make it kind of rustic looking, and just, you know, just kind of work it as you go and what looks good to you. Now you just want to keep wrapping until you get to the top. Once you get to the top, just secure it with some glue. And now I'm going to show you some great ways of how you can embellish it with all kinds of different kind of greenery to make the carrot greens. And this is the fun part. You can put just about anything in the top of this carrot now. And of course I added a bow to it, but I'm just going to show you now some different things that I had on hand that I put in it for the carrot greens. Now I'm going to show you how we can take a thrifted and a lamp and just repurpose it to make us a really pretty wreath holder. It's very easy. You just want to take a lamp pole or an old lamp you may have laying around, just take all the stuff out of it. I actually purchased this one just like this from a thrift store for $5. It's wood and it was a really pretty color, but this color will blend in with my environment because of my paint colors and stuff in my home. So that's why I chalk paint a lot of things white. I just want to brighten them up so they'll show up. So I just lightly went over it with some white chalk paint because I wanted that wood grain, some of it to show through and look distressed. And then I'm just going to take a glass door knocker, and you can put whatever emblem that you may have. Sometimes even off the lamps you can take the decorative finials and use that for your topper, but you just want something to put, you know, glue at the top, and then you've got a great piece to hang your spring wreath. Now I'm going to show you how to make a cute little shabby chic birdhouse. This is actually a little bird feeder, and I got it at a thrift store, and I paid $1 for it. As you can see, it's got 2 little sides. They're like a real hard plastic, and they slide in and out. The little roof will slide off. So now I'm going to take some little thrifted frames, and you want to find some frames that are kind of, you know, have ornate design on them, because to me that just really adds more detail to it. But I'm going to go with this frame right here. The first thing we're going to do is I'm getting Ben to drill a hole in the front of the little bird feeder to make it look more like a little house. So I took the little roof off, and I got my parts of my picture frame. I basically just broke that picture frame apart in the corners, and I want 2 of the little angled sides, and that's just going to add some really pretty detailed trim to our little birdhouse. And I went over it with some antiquing wax, and I put some brown antiquing wax over the whole little house. Now I'm tracing out the sides, and I printed these little bird designs from the graphics fairy, and I just used my little sides as a template. I traced around them and then I cut them out. Now I'm going to Mod Podge them to those two little side panels because I felt like the little birdhouse, of course it needed some little bird design. Now I'm just going to slide these back in, and then that will be the sides. Now I chalk painted the little birdhouse after I went over it with antique and wax. I went over it with white linen chalk paint. I did a couple of coats, and I went around and I distressed it. So now we're looking like a little birdhouse. So now we're going to add our little special touch to it. We're going to add those two pieces of that frame we broke apart, and I did the same thing to them. I painted them, distressed them. Now we're going to glue them right there in the angle, and then we're going to glue them on to the front of our roof. Now that just sent our little birdhouse up a whole different level. So now we've got, just really cute. And we've got the sides, and I felt like it needed something for the front, so I went back out to the graphics fairy, and I found this really pretty French graphic. Now I just distressed it around the edges and did the coffee grinds on it, and then I just went where I felt like that little hole was going to be and just kind of punched it out and made a place for the little hole that we drilled. And then I'm using some Mod Podge. I'm just going to apply this to the front, just so now the front has a little bit more detail to it. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to add just a few sprigs of lavender with a little coffee stained bow, and that's all it is to it. And I'm going to display this on a candlestick base, but I think this turned out so cute for spring.
Lost outside of nowhere, a stormy rain tried to wash away the dream.
Now I'm going to show y'all some little upcycled bunnies. I've had these little Go Bunnies for years, and I've enjoyed them this color. But now I'm going to freshen them up for my home and give them a little bit of a change. I got these at a yard sale, and they were $2 each. So I just chalk painted both of them white. I made some real pretty little loop bows for their necks. I just used a flannel shirt that I wasn't wearing anymore. And now I'm going to show you a little embellishment that we can make from a Dollar Tree item and just add a little bit more embellishment to them. I'm taking one of those little Dollar Tree buckets. You get 3 to a pack in the dollar section. I'm just taking a piece of scrap fabric. I tied it in little knots on the sides. I glued it to my bucket, and I just hung it around its neck. Now we can add some of that little vintage raffia and a few carrots, and you could also put little Easter eggs in this. So just another way to bump up your decor, just get creative with it. And so now I've got my little bunnies. I've got them staged, and I got some cute little carrots to go with them. Now I'm going to show you another little Dollar Tree embellishment. And this is kind of, a little Dollar Tree hack. These are very inexpensive little headbands. And as you can see, I think you got 4 to a pack at Dollar Tree. And all you want to do is get these. You can spray paint them any color you want. I just took them outside. I spray painted some of them white. And then you can stick these down into your florals and your greenery and your centerpieces just to make a really, for, I guess, when I bought them, they were $1 each. Because Dollar Tree's gone up now to $1.25. But anyway, when I bought them, they were $1. So just a great, inexpensive way that you can add some embellishment and detail to your centerpieces. Okay, y'all, the last project, but certainly not the least. This may be one of my favorites. I just took a piece of scrap wood. I put my brown craft paint on it. I chalk painted it, and I distressed it. Now we're going to make a little burlap carrot. So now that I've got the board distressed, I'm going to cut out a carrot. Now I'm just using that orange burlap. I've got this linked in my Amazon store, and I've used it on several projects, but I'm just going to cut out freehand a little carrot for the size of my board, and then I'm just going to go around with some hot glue. I'm going to put it on the board with some hot glue, and then I'm going to add some embellishments to it, and I'm going to show you how we can make the greens out of some raffia. And we're just going to take, several strands of raffia. I'm going to just loop it around, and then we're just going to tie it off at the bottom with some twine, and then I'll cut the top and just kind of ravel it around at the top, just kind of make it kind of frazzled looking and make it full. And you can see, I'm just working that twine down to the bottom, and then I'm just going to cut those little loops, and that'll be the tops. And it makes really good little carrot tops, but you can use just about anything. I've showed you in previous projects how you can make carrot greens out of, floral greens, and just take picks and take some leaves off of those too. And then I cut the bottom off a little bit, and then I'm going to hot glue it, and then I'm just going to add a bow, and I'm going to add a vintage button, and that's all it is. And this makes such a cute little piece to add to your tiered trays. And I'll show you in just a minute toward the end how we can style it with the things that I've made in this video. Okay, y'all, we're at the end of the video, and if y'all watched this whole video, thank y'all so much. These compilation videos, they can get lengthy because you want to put the highlights from last year into all one video. And this is not all the projects I did last year. This is just some of them, and it was an abbreviated version. So if you want the longer versions and more projects, more staging, more information on the things that you saw, I am going to leave a spring and Easter playlist down in my description box with the full-length videos. So, as always, y'all, I appreciate y'all so much. I love each and every one of y'all, and I plan to see y'all again in my next video. Bye, y'all.